old Nintendo gamer.
And son.
For those eagle-eared listeners, you would have noticed that in our news we had no mention of the latest firmware for Switch updated to 11.0.0. It's the big one, boys. Another round number. And we're going to take you through everything that is part of that update. And then maybe something, speculation about the future of Nintendo Switch Online. Because one of the biggest updates of this 11.0 update was that the Nintendo Switch Online was now added an icon to your home menu, and you can access all Nintendo Switch Online services, from getting the latest information to checking your membership status. That sounds exciting, Nick.
Yeah, very exciting. But I think before it was only done through the shop, wasn't it? So it does make sense that they've got like a separate app. And I do like the fact that you can see how long you've been a member for. I'm at 2 years, 6 months and 12 days or something like that, I think, or 4 months and 12 days. I can't remember, but since day one, basically. But yeah, I hate going into the shop because it's so slow. So at least, you can do stuff with Nintendo Switch Online here rather than and buy vouchers, for example, and stuff like that.
I think that pushes you back into the eShop, though.
It does, but it means you don't have to go through all the menus in the shop to get there.
Yeah.
Try and find
that's
it.
True.
Yeah.
It'll take you directly to the proper place in the eShop once you clicked on the online app. Yeah. One thing I was quite happy, well, not happy, I'm never going to use it, but one thing I'm quite interested in is that it's got the entire list of all the NES and SNES games from the apps itself in there, and you can actually open the game and it goes straight into, it obviously loads up the app itself and then puts the app straight to the top of your list of icons on your home menu. You can go straight and open a game from there. That's not too shabby, Greg.
I guess not. It's probably, again, it's not something I would really use either. I kind of always did hope that the NES and SNES apps would be like sort of combined into one, and maybe even got their own icon down at the bottom that is separate from everything else. But I have seen actually quite a few people complain about the new icon and how like that kind of stands out from everything else a wee bit. And
it is rather bright compared to the dark ones, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not just me that has an issue with icons.
I'm okay with that one. It's okay. It's just, it is jarring the first time you see it. It's like, oh, that new icon is on the left there as well. Now everything's been pushed over to the right. So my kind of ingrained button press for the eShop has now moved over one space to the right now. Just be careful when you're clicking those buttons. Anything else to say about that?
I wonder, I've read some things that it could be signaling something in the future, like it's kind of a big update to Nintendo Switch Online, which means something else might be coming. But then on the other hand, I've seen people say that it's just a glorified advert. And I do wonder if Nintendo have got data where they've got people who've subscribed to Nintendo Switch Online and they just haven't downloaded the NES and the SNES app. And this is kind of like a way of saying, hello,
hey, here we are.
you can download this if you want. Because I can imagine finding that NES and SNES app once you've paid for the subscription, it doesn't say download this now. When you buy a game, it automatically downloads, doesn't it? You pay for the subscription and then you have to go and find the app yourself.
You have to go into that specific menu in the
so
the eShop.
It could just be streamlining stuff. What is it, 8 million, 9 million subscribers they've got or something, 7-8 million. So I wonder if they've got a percentage of them just haven't downloaded anything. They just think, it's only for online play. That list of games is a way of saying you can play this game and this game and this game. And I guess when you click on the game, say Kirby's Dream Land 3, if you haven't downloaded the app, it will take you straight to the shop so you can download it and then start playing. So maybe it is just a way of communicating better than Nintendo usually do.
That's a nice way of looking at it. I thought it was just a way of saying, pay for it, Nintendo Switch Online now. Come on. It's
well,
there,
that as well. That as well. Of
There's
course.
a bit of both in it. Yeah. Thoughts on that, Greg? Money grabbing or being nice and helping us all out?
Ultimately, it's not really hurting anybody. Like,
It's not. Yeah.
So they did update a few other things in this big firmware update, and one of them was a new feature that automatically downloads backed up save data between 2 or more systems was added to this save data. I've actually used it. I've turned it on. You've actually got to go manually and turn this function on both your systems, and basically you go into the way you go for the save data cloud in the data management settings, in the settings on the Switch home menu there, and you've got to click a button basically to say, right, I want the backup, and if there's like an update to Borderlands 2 and I back it up on this Switch, it'll automatically update it and back up my save data as well on the other Switch, which is quite handy, so I don't have to do it manually twice. I haven't seen it in function yet on whether it works seamlessly, but I'll keep everyone updated on that.
That seems sensible.
Yes, yeah.
And I think it highlights the fact that they know more and more people are buying second Switches, and they're just trying to streamline that process. So if you, for example, if you have Borderlands on your Switch and Borderlands on your son's Switch, if you save, like you switch this option on, you play, like for example, on your Switch in bed, and then the next day you play on the different Switch in the living room, you don't need to do anything. Like the save will already be synchronized, right?
Yes,
that's pretty good.
That's the way it should work. Yeah, it is pretty good. I haven't tried it out with. I'm going to try it out with Pure Pool because that's what I tend to do. I play on my Switch on the TV and my son's Switch when I'm in bed. And normally now I have to, before the update, I have to manually do it every time. So I play it in bed. Then before I drop off to sleep, I have to go to data settings, back up the save data, and then when I want to play it on TV the next day, I have to then download the save data. So hopefully it should be. I haven't yet tested it out, like I say, but yeah, that's how it should work. It's good. Well, hopefully it's good. There's a trending feature. I don't know if you've seen this one. This is if you go into your user icon on the top left of the home menu and you click on there, normally you've got like all your friends lists and your playtime list there. You've now got a new setting, a new sub-menu called Trending, which basically allows you to check what software your friends are playing or have started playing recently, and it kind of goes like, trending software, Animal Crossing. 200 of your friends are playing Animal Crossing, and Nick has been playing it for 40 hours, and it tells, it breaks down per user or per game. Is a handy little feature, Greg?
Handy for what reason? For snipping and everything? It's not something that really would bother me that much. Like, I don't really care what all you guys are playing most of the time. I suppose it's one of them things like, all my friends are playing Mario Tennis. They're not, obviously, but if they were, it's like, maybe I should pick up Mario Tennis, join in the fun.
And if you are worried about snooping, you can opt out from this. So your data is not sent to your friends if you choose not to. What are your thoughts on that, Nick?
Yeah, it's just, I had a look at it. It's quite interesting. See who's played what for how long, who's playing what. Everybody's playing Animal Crossing except Greg and Lee. But I mean, it is because you can break it down by who's putting the most hours in something and stuff like that. Yeah, and see like, 3 of my friends are playing. What's that game called that came out? Sakuna Rise of Ruin or something like that. And it's, I kind of respect these 3 people's opinions. So maybe I should look into getting that as well. I mean, that's the only way I could consider it being handy. But as just sort of snooping, yeah, it's all right. And Xbox and Microsoft, I'm sure they have something similar. Xbox definitely do, where you can see who's played what for how long and the achievements they've got. So it's just, it's a standard feature, I guess you could say. Doesn't hurt to have it. Not a big loss without it, but it's there now, so fair enough.
Another little, it's kind of 2-in-1 here. It's about transferring screenshots and videos from your album on your Switch. And it was a pain in the butt to do it before. The way I've been doing it, if I needed a screenshot from my Switch itself, I'd have to send it to Twitter. Then Twitter would not, decompress it and all that. Compress it rather, not decompress it. They would compress it. But then when it went on my computer, it's not that crisp, clean screenshot that I would ever want. Well, now you can do it wirelessly to your smart device via a QR code. Or you can plug your Switch in via the USB-C port at the bottom and through to your PC itself and go through data management in the settings, through to manage screenshots and videos, and then you can enable a USB cable to download whatever photos or videos you want from your Switch to your PC. Now, they didn't, I suppose the things they didn't want to allow this before in the past because of exploits and hacking the system. I wonder, Greg, why they've done it now.
I don't know, but I am glad they have done it, kind of, because being able to transfer your screenshots wirelessly to your smartphone, that's something that I would probably have liked several times in the past, because like you, there's sometimes it's like I'll just upload an image to Twitter here just so I can get the grab of it for whatever purpose, so it will be handier to, even if it's to share something on Discord with you boys, like it'll be much easier to do that.
Any thoughts on that, Nick?
Yeah, I agree.
Would you ever use the service?
Definitely, because I don't use social media. I don't have Facebook or Twitter, so
yeah.
It's definitely a good idea. A good addition, and it will stop me taking pictures of my TV and sending them to you guys, to you two boys in the Discord. I can actually send you the real screenshot now instead of an awkwardly angled photo with reflection on the screen. So yeah, it's good, definitely good. I haven't tried it yet, actually, but I will try to connect my my phone to it. It seems pretty simple through a QR code. Yes, and then they're just permanently linked, as far as I understand. So yeah.
Oh, permanently? Oh, that's good.
Possibly not, but it seems like some sort of wireless connection or Bluetooth. Well, I don't want to say Bluetooth because I don't know if the Switch even has Bluetooth. Don't think it does. But some kind of connection, and you can transfer stuff between them. So, yeah, good.
Oh, that's good. That's good news if it's permanent. Do you have to download a specific program for your mobile? Or
I think you just you just open the camera and look at the QR code and it'll automatically do it. Yeah.
Off the QR code, off of the Switch screen. Yeah, okay. Well, that's pretty cool. And they've also got little user-friendly implemented bits and pieces as well. Things like prioritizing which download. Now, I would have wanted this when I was downloading the Borderlands collection. They're about 20 gigabytes each game, and then you've gone, wait there, I want to play Borderlands 1, and you've downloaded Borderlands 2 first, and I can't switch which one I want to download first, and I've got to wait for 40 gigs. Oh no, Borderlands pre-sequel downloaded before that, that's another 20 gigs. I got to wait for 60 gigs to download before I can play the game I want to start. And it would have helped me there, but yes, I can imagine. All you have to do basically, when two games, for example, are downloading at the same time or updating, you can go to one of them, press the plus button as you do to open the menu, and then you can say, no, download this one first. So it kind of, you have to manually do it, of course, but you can tell the Switch, I wanted this one, and it will automatically do it. Handy if you're downloading a lot of stuff there, Nick.
No, it is. It's useful. Like I think I've got like 8 or 9 games off my Switch because there's just no space for them. And I usually, once every couple of months, try and download an update for everything because the Switch doesn't seem to do it by itself for every game. So yeah, definitely, if there's something you want to play quickly, all of this stuff is just quality of life. Just, it's probably the best update we've had so far, just because it just does a few simple basic things that maybe some people complained about, or maybe just make the experience a little bit more stable and streamlined.
Stability improved.
Yeah. Streamlined and stable.
Are you likely to use that, Greg?
I'm never really in a position where I'm downloading multiple games at once and like having to have something download like immediately. But it's a sort of feature that I can't really believe that wasn't really there in the first place, actually.
Yeah.
Because it's something like I've been downloading a lot of games on PS4 recently, and it's just like it's natural to like pause one and like download another one first or whatever. So like it's not even something I really thought that wasn't a feature of the Switch, so yeah, I'm glad it's there, like, but yeah, not really downloading too much on the Switch these days anyway. But like Nick sort of mentioned, the like updating games every so often they do that. Like, why do some games not update automatically? I don't understand, because I thought like that's what it was supposed to do. Your Switch is in sleep mode all the time. All these will be ready for you, because there's nothing more annoying than like clicking on like Rocket League or something. Like maybe I'll message like Darren or whatever, does he be? Say, oh, do you want a couple of quick games? And he'll say, okay, and then like he'll click on it. It's like, oh, I have
7
to download an
gigabyte
update here.
update.
It's going to be, like, yeah.
As far as I understand, it's only the first 12 games on the home screen that update automatically. And
right.
not everything.
But the thing is, if it updates automatically, it doesn't move the icon in your...
It does. It does.
Oh, does it?
Because it's happened to me a few times with
Okay.
Animal Crossing.
Okay.
And with the Super Nintendo app and the NES app both got updated last week. The Super Nintendo app was in my 12 on the home screen, and the NES app obviously wasn't. And
It is now.
like when I turned on the Switch, the SNES app was at the beginning, and I got the message saying this app's been updated. And then I went into all the games, clicked on the NES app, and did the update. And then Greg said, when I sent the picture of Xenoblade, why is the NES app number one in your as your recently played games? What are you doing? No, it wasn't that. It's not that. It's an automatic update.
That's Ireland. I wasn't aware of that.
That's just what I understand. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's how it seems to work for me.
Sense, actually.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, oh, Overwatch is updated and it's done it automatically. And other times, it seems when it's lowered down, you might be right there. Yeah, that's good.
But I usually go through every couple of months and just update everything. And there's usually I've got 153 games on my Switch, and usually 8 to 10 of them will get a new update.
And it tends to be the same ones. And for me, it's
Similar
like
ones,
Overwatch
yeah.
and Rocket League and whatever. Yeah, those kind of
Online
games that get
experiences.
gases.
Yeah.
And there's 2 more things to talk about very quickly. 12 user icons have been added to commemorate the 35th anniversary of the Super Mario Brothers series. They're Mario, basically, from all different games, starting from Super Mario Brothers all the way through to, all his character art, all the way through to more modern, older Mario games. And the last one is there's preset button mappings. You can basically, this was in the last, I think the 10.0 update, you could change the button mappings on your controllers. I was just going to say the Pro controller, but any controller, the Joy-Cons as well. You can now give it a name. So you can go, oh, this is, me being a father, this is Daddy's controller button configuration, and then my son can have son's configuration. So you can actually name them now to be, user, like you said, helping the user out. Anything to talk about there? Have you changed your Yoshi icon, Greg, to a new Super Mario 35th anniversary one?
No, I'm kind of stuck with the Yoshi one now. But I do like that old Mario art.
Yeah.
So the ones like Super Mario World one kind of lures me in a wee bit. But I just don't think I can change at this point.
It's a shame they don't have an old Yoshi Super Mario World Yoshi one for you. So a bit of speculation we're moving on to here now. The future of the Nintendo Switch Online, or maybe future updates or anything to the OS as well. Nick, do you want to get us started on this?
I wonder if we'll ever get anything more than basic black and basic white.
Yeah, themes for me are not a big one.
No, me neither. Now I don't care anymore. But
there's something that's been overlooked for too long. I think.
I just don't understand why you would put basic black and basic white instead of just black and white if there wasn't advanced black and advanced white coming, or something like that. It just seems a bit weird. But I think we'll get a new console at some point soon in the future. Though I don't want to say what that could be, because it could be N64, it could be Game Boy Original, it could be Game Boy Color Advance, no idea what it could be, but I do think we'll get something else. And my little bit of speculation, the fact that they've got all these games listed individually suggests to me that they might be open to the possibility of people being able to purchase them in the future individually, which before this NES and SNES app launched, I would have been I would have been down for completely. Yes, that's what I want to do, but I don't really see the point. Like, if they're there on the SNES and the NES app, I won't buy them unless they get removed. Which, another good way to make a lot of money, to say, oh, Donkey Kong Country 2's going off the SNES app next week. Make sure you purchase it before it does, if you want to keep playing it. So
there'd be outrage and uproar if they removed games.
There might be, but they would get away with it, and they'd make a lot of money, so nothing would stop them from doing that. But yeah, we got NES day one, we got SNES a year later, and there's not really been much else since then, has there? It's been a bit quiet. And even the game updates, like the new games that have been added, it's been very slow, like once every 3 or 4 months.
It's been a while now, isn't it, since they've updated it again?
I think it was...
How about as different, like putting a price on each one of those games that somebody without Nintendo Switch Online could purchase individually?
Possibly, yeah. It just, the whole... Like, I think it is for visibility. Like, that's why they've done it. But I do think there might be more nefarious reasons why it's got its own icon as well. And that it is going to be used as a sort of tool to earn more money in the future. But I guess, we already know how many, 65 million Switches out there now? There've got to be a good chunk of people who own a Switch that have no idea what Nintendo Switch Online is.
From my memory, I think it's just past the 70 million.
Well, there you go. So,
just, like last week.
Yeah. And Fire Emblem has thrown a bit of a spanner into the works, because that's been ported using the Wii U emulator.
Yeah.
So I have no idea what's going on, what tech they're using, what they're developing, what they're happy with, what they're not happy with. Everything just seems to be a bit of a mess, to be honest. Like, GameCube emulators going, Wii emulators going, N64 emulators going, as we know from 3D All-Stars. So who knows what's going to come next. Maybe if we get any 3D games, we might see a price increase, but I'm not sure. Something is probably going to happen around March or April next year, because that game's disappearing, and I would suggest that means Mario 64 is coming in another way, or that they're going to sell them individually and add Mario Galaxy 2. I have no idea.
Can you imagine if they added Super Mario 64, that version, free to the Nintendo Switch Online?
That would be pretty annoying, to be honest. Especially as I've got mine digital rather than physical. If I had it physical, then it would be a different story. Because I've got the box, it's a limited edition, blah, blah, blah. But with it being digital, it's just like, well, I paid a third of the price of the game for this, and here it is just for free. So I don't know. I think next year is going to be a really big year, because we've got Zelda, Breath of the Wild team, and the Odyssey team have pretty much come to the end of the development cycle, whatever they're working on next. So hopefully that means we're going to get a few games dropping, or a couple of big games anyway. Breath of the Wild 2 and whatever that team's been working on, Bayonetta 3, any Metroid game, possibly Prime 4, hopefully something else as well. I think that's a good shout about Samus Returns. I think that is more likely than a trilogy. But personally, I'd prefer to play the trilogy on Switch in HD. But yeah, we'll see. It's going to be... I know we say it every year, but I do think next year is going to be the strongest year since the first year.
Do you know, as I'm going back for old Nintendo Gamer and Son, I'm going back and doing a little bit of advertising here. I'm doing a little bit of going back with the N-E Café, the old ones. I'm up to episode 15 I'm going to put up today. So going all the way back to N-E Café 15. And as I'm going back through them and the game of the year for 2019 and starting now the year 2020, yeah, we're always mentioning this is the year. Going to be a massive year. Yeah.
Well, we didn't know about Corona, to be fair. We didn't know about coronavirus back then.
That's true.
So, plans could have been delayed, but just because it has been a full development cycle since the first year of the Switch, which it does mean it's logical that the teams are finishing up with whatever projects they're working on. And between April next year and April the year after, I do think we'll see 2 or 3 very, very big hitters. That's not a hope. I mean, I do think we will see it. Not a hope we will see it. I think we will, especially now with Xbox and PS5 out. They need to do something to keep the Switch relevant and keep the momentum going.
Greg, Nintendo Switch online service, what does the future hold?
Well, I do think that there probably will be another console added at some point to go along with the NES and the SNES apps. In my head, the most likely candidate is actually probably Game Boy Advance, I feel like. It's not the one that I would prefer to come. I would obviously probably like N64 or actually even more than that, maybe GameCube, actually, because we've never seen GameCube Virtual Console before. So yeah, I would love to see stuff like F-Zero GX and obviously Wave Race and stuff get a run out again. I don't think GameCube is likely in the slightest. I think what's more likely for that would be if Nintendo were to like remake or remaster some of the games eventually, and I'm actually surprised they haven't really went that route before, because obviously when like we're going through like the Xbox 360 and PS3 era, there seemed to be a lot of HD remasters of like old PS2 games and stuff, and it kind of always surprised me a wee bit that Nintendo haven't been back, like even throughout like the Wii U and Switch, that they haven't went back to some of those old games and like polished them up a wee bit for like HD remasters or whatever. Obviously we got Wind Waker completely remade and like Twilight Princess HD, but it always seems to be like the Zelda games that that get wee bump ups, where like I think it wouldn't be too difficult for them to actually re-release some of these other GameCube games just to give them a sort of second chance really, or reintroduce the franchise while they maybe work on a sequel. But yeah, like I think maybe Game Boy Advance for a Switch app next year. Like I said, it's not really what it wouldn't sell me on Switch Online. I do kind of partially think that Nintendo might do a bit of a dick move again, where obviously with like they had their 3DS line, and then new 3DS came out, and this is the only place you can play you can download the SNES games for the Virtual Console.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they would do that again with a new Nintendo Switch, where it's like N64 Virtual Console's out on Nintendo Switch Online, but you need the new Nintendo Switch to play it. Like, I don't think they will do that again, but I wouldn't completely rule it out, because it seems like a Nintendo thing to do.
Need that extra power.
Yeah. I think we will see more like wee smaller games, like Super Mario 35 isn't going to be like an isolated thing. There's going to be
that was one of mine. I have a feeling there'll be a lot more time limited and time related releases. Carry on, Greg.
Yeah, I hope there is something like more enticing in that area, because I don't think I've played Super Mario 35 yet, and I don't really have any great desire to, and obviously it's ended in March, so I should probably try it out before then, but I don't really find myself caring. So I hope they do. Like, I've got no problem with these like wee smaller games that you can dip into and have fun, but it doesn't necessarily have to be like a battle royale type game that could do something different, and hopefully it'll be something more exciting.
I can see them doing a lot more little games as well. You know, we mentioned before, they got Tetris 99 for Nintendo Switch Online, and what else do we have? Super Mario 35. Mm-hmm. Yes, that's scheduled to stop. I have a feeling it won't stop. It'll carry on. They've been doing a pretty good job of doing weekly or bi-weekly events on that Super Mario 35 as well. Just to get you dragged in, but you can't win anything, you know. At least in Tetris 99, you've got a theme that you put in half an hour and you get a theme out of it, you know. But in Super Mario Bros. 35, there's no incentive to actually play through it apart from leveling up. And once you get to level 99, yes, you can unlock Luigi by holding the L button down on the start screen. Great, and that's hidden away as well. So there's nothing much there, but little games. I've always thought, right, now's the time for those type of games, like, because once again, old Nintendo gamer and son, I've been playing Nintendo Land with my son, and little games from that game itself or ideas like that would be perfect for Nintendo Switch Online. Donkey Kong Crash Course. What a absolutely delightful. I know Greg likes that a lot as well, don't you?
It's brilliant.
Delightful game. And we only dropped in for 10 minutes just to give it a try out again and play it after all these years. And it's still just as delightful. Something like that with high scores, you can do speed runs, you can do life runs, how many, try and complete it with the least lost lives. You can create, instead of the is it 2 levels in the Nintendo Land one?
4, I think,
is
is
the
it?
first level in it. I can't remember.
Is it 4?
Can't remember.
I think they do. There's 4 different stages in it, I think, but
okay. They could just add more stages, and progressively, it doesn't have to be getting harder, but just some more ideas along the similar lines of what they had in Nintendo Land. But one that you just popped into my mind because you said Battle Royale is Mario Chase. Let's have a Battle Royale, but with Mario Chase. And, one Mario
chasing
hiding
99
from 100 Toads or the other way around, one Mario chasing all the Toads. Do something like that. Little games that can pop up on the Nintendo Switch Online app more frequently, more often, and because all we've had so far is just those 2, and I don't think it's quite good enough, as an incentive to purchase it. Give us more incentive.
To be honest, I do think it's fairly decent value for money. You're getting 50 odd NES games, 30 SNES games, a couple of extra games, and then you've got online play as well. So I mean, it's not terrible for £20 a year or $17.99 or whatever it is. Could be much worse, I think.
That's true. Yeah. Do you think, last question for the Nintendo Switch Online service, do you think they'll do anything to improve the situation of some of their online functionality and applicability as well? I mean, like Mario Kart. I play a game of Mario Kart and it's flawless online. Doesn't matter who I play with, there's always a game there. Sometimes when I'm playing Splatoon, you get in issues all the time, lag, players dropping off for whatever reason. Do you think they'll address any kind of net code or something like that, Nick?
I think it depends more on the individual game, which is why Smash Brothers sometimes is so bad. But I never had any problems with Splatoon 2, to be honest. I had like 1 or 2 minor problems when it first came out, but for the whole 200 or whatever hours I played it, it's been pretty flawless. And same for Mario Kart as well. Like the biggest issues I've had are with Smash Brothers and with Mario Maker 2, which was just unplayable online. And I do think it's mostly down to netcode, bad netcode. I would like to see them invest in servers, but whether they will is another question. Because I think it can make the whole experience, especially if you've got like regional servers, like in Japan, in Europe, in America, it can just sometimes make the experience much better, especially when there's multiple characters. Rather than for 2-player games, maybe it's better just to have a direct connection peer-to-peer. But for games with a lot of players, servers definitely are the way to go, I would say.
Any last thoughts, Greg?
Not really, other than I wonder if it's maybe a possibility down the line. Like obviously, the online service is much cheaper than like the Xbox and PlayStation. I do wonder if they will like either increase the price or introduce like a tiered system, which is maybe against their philosophy, kind of, because that would kind of overcomplicate things maybe a wee bit for people. Like, for instance, if you purchase like the basic packs and then realize, I can't play certain things because I don't have the premium one. I don't know. I think it's a possibility that like if you're wanting to improve these online services and things, I think an increase in price is the most likely option.
Yeah.
But
how much are you willing to pay?
I don't know. I guess it kind of depends. At the moment, like over the last year, so like my Switch has been, I would say, demoted to maybe like my second system now, which is really odd because Nintendo was always my like number one system. But at the minute, I'm playing PS4 more than the Switch, and I just pick up the Switch now and again just to to have a wee quick go on something, and nothing's really grabbing me to keep me like locked into the Switch for a considerable amount of time. So because I'm not really playing the Switch that much, I'm not finding myself like even dipping into the SNES or NES apps or anything, or really playing online. So an increase in price wouldn't be that enticing at the moment. So it depends what sort of stuff they add to it. If you did get like N64 and like even GameCube stuff there, like I'd be willing to pay much more. Like if they brought it in line with like PlayStation Plus, where you're spending like, well, the RRP whatever is $49.99 for the year. You cannot usually get it cheaper than that, but that is like the price that they sell it for on the PlayStation Store. I would happily pay that for a Nintendo service if it had like all that extra stuff, or even gave you like free games every month, like what PlayStation Plus does.
Must be similar sentiments from you then, Nick.
Yeah, I would be a bit willing to pay more, but only for a couple of reasons. Firstly, if we had 3D games like GameCube, N64, Wii. Secondly, I'd want exclusive member discounts, not necessarily free games every month, but at least discounts in the shop, or a higher return rate on the gold coins or something like that. Maybe 10% instead of 5%, get a little bit greedy. And I would like them to publicly announce that they are investing money in making the service better. As in, upgrading infrastructure, making the experience smoother, investing in making it so we can communicate without needing to use our mobile phone or something like that. Do you know what I mean? I would be willing to pay the same price as Microsoft and Sony. If those things happened, I would see value in that. But as it is, just to play the occasional NES and SNES game and have access to online, I think 20 quid is the absolute limit for me per year.
Yeah, I haven't felt robbed from paying my £20 a year.
Not really.
So it's yeah. I've dipped into a few SNES games, dipped into a few for Pod Pals especially. So let's hope there's more in the future. Whether it'll cost more, that's another thing, and we can speculate all we want. We'll find out next year, because it's all happening next year, boys. All happening. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give us a like if you've enjoyed our content. You can also check out our other great content on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and the N-E Café podcast from all good podcast providers. Just follow the links in the description below.